no Fred dag. The only dag you'll find on me is probably that one in my undies. Alrighty, so we're about to shift the old moo-moos. So first things first, try and get this reel over the bail. As you can see, I'm going to leave the power on the fence, so just a couple of young twists over there. Hook it on like so, and away we go. So today the girls are getting 4 meters of crop. Important thing here for all you young fellas who are just getting into the industry, try not to muck around too much over this end of the reel. Get heaps of cows pushing and some of them tend to break through. The aim here is trying to keep our fence as straight as possible. What happens if that fence ends up being too crooked, you end up giving them more feed than they're supposed to be getting. So the ton of crop that we're using at the moment, so obviously we're using fodder beet today. That's what the girls have been getting. What does the fodder beet look like? There's a fodder beet. Not bad. Tastes a bit like a persimmon. If you grab a fodder beet and chuck it in the oven, chuck it on bake for a little bit, or fan grill, she's pretty bloody good stuff actually. It tastes, it ends up crystallizing. It's got that much sugar in the stuff. So we got one of our reps to turn up and weigh our crop about 3 weeks ago. So when he weighs the crop, all he does pretty much takes about 5 or 6 samples throughout this whole paddock. So he'll go in, find a spot, he'll measure out 1 metre square. What he'll then do is he'll go and grab all the bulbs in that metre square, take all the mud off it, then what he'll do is he'll grab a knife, cut off the top, and then what he'll do is he'll measure the weight, the wet weight of the fodder beet, so the bulbs, and then he'll then grab all the tops and measure all the tops. So what he's going to test for is a dry matter test. So our dry matter test came back at, I think it was 20 tonne of fodder beet per hectare. So 20 tonne of fodder beet per hectare. It's not the best crop in the world, but this paddock isn't the highest producing paddock on the farm either. So if you're not a farmer, you're new to farming, every hectare is 10,000 metres square. If you don't know what a metre square is, well then you better go back to school. So with 10,000 metres square, if you were trying to figure out how many kgs of dry matter is in 1 metre square, you would grab the results from the test, which came back at 20 tonne, divide that by 10,000, and voila, you've got 2 kgs of crop per metre square. So with 2 kgs of crop per metre square, so just remember, when we talk about kgs, we're talking about kgs of dry matter. So a kilo of dry matter is pretty much grabbing something wet. Don't use your dirty minds now. Grabbing something wet, taking all the moisture content out of that item, and what remains is the dry matter. Okay, so they take those bulbs that I was saying before and the tops, they get a measurement of the dry matter, and there's your result. So as you can see here, we're at the end of the fence. Good tip here, these are probably the best handles you can get for crop. They're a Gallagher handle. Good thing about these handles is as you're on crop, the cows seem to knock the fence a little bit, and what happens is this ends up going like this. They've got a pretty cheeky little locking mechanism down the end there, so that when you do go and knock it, the old ones, they'd come off, you see. Then the fence would drop like that. All of a sudden, all the bloody cows are out. They're going to eat all the crop and run all through it, eat all the holes out of your bales up there, and it's just a prick of a time trying to get them in, because honestly, they're like thugs getting out of jail. They just bloody run for it, and we're like the police trying to get them back in. They're gone. They don't want a bar of it. So yeah, good on you, Gallagher, for creating these bloody handy dandy little hooks over here. Another little safety, little cheeky little sneaky locking technique there, I suppose you'd call it. It's just with the standard on the end there. When I tie my handles onto the end of my reel, I like to leave a little loop in the end there, so that if that does end up fouling and coming off, they're still not going to break out, okay? Because obviously you've got it through that loop there. So I tell my staff, it's one of our protocols whenever we're setting up crop, is to have one of those on each end. Seems to work a treat. So I'm just going to lock that in there like so. And Bob's your bloody uncle. So guys, I just want to show you the importance of putting a standard through the end of your loop at the end of the reel. Old girl over here tried to get out last night. All the girls would have got out. Luckily, our standard has saved us. So as you can see there, that handle has unclipped off our wire. If we didn't have that standard through the loop there, our wire would have dropped. The cows would have then broken out into the crop, and there'd be bloody wire everywhere, and all the standards would be all in the mud. Okay, and we'd be spending an hour trying to find all the standards and pick up all the reel. Okay, so simple little doodacky at the end there saves about an hour and a half of work and a shitload of frustration, and probably a couple of kilos lost trying to run around after the girls, because none of them want to come in when they get out. So we just shifted the girls. Now I'm just going to walk up behind them, check to make sure no one's got mastitis. Remembering 389 up the end there, it had the sore foot. We'll get her out this afternoon, sort her foot out. So I'm just checking to make sure all the girls are eating, make sure nobody's standing back. You can see there all the cows are all in a line eating. I'd be getting a bit worried if I found a cow sort of down the end there somewhere. So if a cow was down the end there by herself, she's probably had a slip and miscarried her calf. If that's the case, then we'll have to draft her out, bring her up to the cow shed, check her vitals, make sure she's all good, and see if we can bring her into milk. Alrighty, so as I was saying earlier, every second day I shift our safety fence. So as you can see here, part way through shifting our safety fence. So I'm shifting our safety fence 3 days in advance. So one day I'll come in, I'll give the girls their 4 meter break, and I'll walk back behind the girls, just observing any unnormal behavior, see if there's any cows with mastitis or sore feet. Just make sure the girls are eating properly, no one's got a sore mouth or anything like that, or woody tongue. And on the opposite days I am shifting our back fence. So when you shift the back fence, you're just walking down, shifting the girls their 4 meters. Once you get down to the end of the reel down there, you'll then jump through the fence and grab your handle from your safety fence, move it over 10 or so meters, and then we'll just go along as we are, like so, shifting that safety fence, so we don't have to do it tomorrow. Otherwise you end up doing it every day. You end up having to shift your front fence to feed the girls, and then shifting your safety fence, allowing no time to walk behind the cows and observe any unusual behavior. Whenever we're shifting crop, always check the water. Once I get up to the end here, just take the rail off the power. Just tighten that fence up a little bit. In terms of putting the power on, this fence is always hot, okay? So at the moment we're running about 7 kVA power going through this fence. Obviously to get the power from there to here, we have to try and make this touch that. So just a simple couple of wraparounds around there, like so. She's going to make contact, just like that. Yeah, I hope you've taken a little bit of info out of what I've given you today. Thanks very much for listening to me. Again, subscribe and follow my YouTube channel, Farm for Life, and share this shit around. Cheers. So this is what the cows are getting. They're not getting any of that, but they're getting fodder beet today and silage. I'm going to get my old mate to have a bit of a test dry. I don't think he's hungry enough to be eating the silage here, so we'll chuck that back over the fence for the girls. But have a bit of a whack on that fodder beet there, Jism. Tell me what you reckon. Thoughts, feelings? If you could
Yuck. Should
I
do
so
it
give me your honest opinion.
Yummy.
No, what does it actually taste like though?
Well, like when I first put it, it tastes like an apple. Just started tasting.
Like what? Rotten bread? Doesn't feel right.
Doesn't it? The taste buds.
Doesn't it? The taste buds. Well, lucky you're not a cow. Cheers, mate.